Hey everybody, welcome, Caleb here. Let me tell you, this is the time when millionaires are made. The time when there's fear in the market, uncertainty globally, and everything has had a massive drawdown. I'm talking 60 to 90% drawdown. We are either at the bottom or pert near there, and not financial advice, but this would be the perfect time, in my opinion, to be stacking your bags. Stack, whatever you can. People say, oh, I don't have a whole lot, I can't do, here and there. I understand, I get that completely. If you don't have a whole lot of extra capital, work on finding some extra capital. Work on cutting back on certain things. Actually, they usually say it's easier to just figure out a way to earn more money than it is to pinch pennies. And that kind of helps you long-term too, for long-term thinking. But buy whatever you can. Whatever you can now, because a year from now, you'll be laughing. A year from now, you're going to be laughing. Think about, okay, let's take an XRP. This last cycle, it went from, I think, a low of 28 cents to about 365, right? And then the cycle before that had a low of 10 cents, went to about $1.98, and that was with the lawsuit dropped on it, right? So like, you're talking about some significant appreciation. Now I get it, everybody wishes you could like completely buy the bottom and time, the absolute tippy top, and so that's impossible. So maybe actually I did get a purchase the last cycle at, I think, 28 or 27 cents, which I was quite proud of, because that was the actual bottom, which was kind of sweet. But I was gonna hit it anyways, because I just dollar cost average, right? Every time there's a drop, I'd be buying some are bigger purchases than others, but whatever you can afford, slap some in there. I tell my buddies, just anytime that you can, buy. So I just want to encourage you today to not hold off. Don't wait on a potential opportunity. I mean, heck, I even years ago when I was messing around with crypto learning, before I got into the fundamentals, I was kind of doing it at the same time, but like, I don't know if you guys remember SafeMoon. I remember I was into SafeMoon like a little bit, and I had got everything. It was the first burn token of its time for the most part, like getting kind of popularity or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I should get some of this. So it was back in the days of like Panda Swap. I don't know how many of you remember that, but it's like, you would have to take your BNB from Binance and send it over to Panda, swap it for BNB something other, and then, whatever, do a million different swaps. So I'm figuring it all out, and I get there and I have the buy order ready. I'm ready to buy, and then, somebody asked me something, and I was like, I got distracted. I'll get back to it later. A few days later, I think I was gonna put a couple $100 into it. It wasn't much. It was a meme coin. It was just for kicks, right? But it's more like crypto casino, that. But whatever. I mean, yeah, it would have been worth $1 million, and I had the liquidity to sell it too. So everybody in this space has their moments where like, I shoulda. Oh, I wish I knew about, Bitcoin back in the early days when it was only $100 a coin, blah, blah, blah. Oh, if I could have gotten XRP when it was at half a penny, whatever. There's gonna be things that you missed out on, but that doesn't mean that there's not still appreciation to happen, right? So most of the like XRP out there right now is at a loss for people, right? So that's like, it's right on the cusp of like, most people a lot of the predominant amount of holders may be at a loss at this point, unless you're, smart money, which is what we strive to do. But you know, is this my exit? I think this is my exit. So you just gotta pull the trigger. That's it, right? I mean, you'll hear this said. Okay, this is actually good words of wisdom. Okay, I heard this from whatever, the grapevine. I'm not sure where, but it's better to start a plan. I'm butchering it already, but it's better to just start somewhere, even though it's not a perfect plan. A bad plan being executed is better than a perfect plan never executed, right? So sometimes you just gotta start going, and you're gonna figure out real quick where your mistakes are. A lot of us have, made mistakes. A lot of us have in this crypto wild west, lost money on rug pulls, lost money, sending something in the wrong format, wrong way, and yeah, you got to figure that out, sure. But if you're gonna send anything, always make sure that you send a little bit first, make sure it gets to where you want, blah blah blah, right? But it's like, you have to just start somewhere. And if the fact that you're afraid that you haven't figured it all out yet, totally, who cares? Just give her, get her done, go for it. I promise you, it's gonna be worth it in the end, because you're gonna learn something new. And this is an asset class that has the potential to make generational wealth for you and your family, and all the things that you can do with that, right? The people that you can help. I believe you're supposed to be blessed to be a blessing, right? So you can't help anybody when you're flat on your back and broke, right? And I understand everybody works hard for their money, but you have to put your money in a place where it's going to start working for you. You can't just leave it. You can't leave it and just hope it's going to outpace inflation, sitting in making your 4 to 6% a year. Not even that. I mean, the banks don't give you that. I mean, that's just like that's some index fund, and it's what, right? I get it. Crypto's a lot more volatile, but hey, when there's more risk, there's a greater reward. And if you just leave it in there, I mean, imagine the people that bought Bitcoin at $100, whatever. I forget exactly what it went to in that time frame at the top, but let's say it went to $3,000 or whatever, and they're like, no, it's going to 10,000. I know Bitcoin's going to 10,000, and then it tumbles and it drops down to whatever, $500 or whatever it is. I have to look at the chart. I totally forget where it was, but you understand the point. And what would they be thinking now, right? Do you think even if you bought the top, let's say you bought the top of Bitcoin way back when, and you bought it at $3,000, right? Or you bought the top of whatever XRP, or ADA, or whatever these whatever assets that you have a conviction in that's going to do well long term. Buy the top. I don't care. Buy the top and sit on it for a while, right? What are your goals? Do you plan on doing a swing trade? Okay, maybe look at it a little differently. But are you just holding these assets for long-term appreciation? Do you plan on retiring with these? What are your hopes and goals for the future for you and your family? And to be afraid of, I don't know, it might drop even further. Maybe we got another 20% drawdown. I know it's smarter to buy then. Well, good luck timing that. That's all I'm going to say. The classic time in the market is better than timing the market, right? You have to get strategic and just give her. You got to give her. So that's my encouragement to you today. Get out there, research it. If you haven't opened that exchange, and make an account. What are you doing? You're sitting on your hands watching the greatest opportunity of a lifetime pass you by. I get it. Don't get FOMO, but usually people get FOMO at the wrong times. Right now is a good time to have FOMO. You are missing out if you're not collecting something at this point. You gotta get her. Man, it's so slippery over here. It's a nice day, but it's like slippery ridiculously new. Okay, here we go. All right, you guys, be blessed. Have a good one. We'll catch you in the next one.